I thought I would try talking and cutting up peppers at the same time. So here we go. Um, this is way over here. This is the side of my refrigerator. And this is where I keep lots of stuff. So I hope you can't read it. But that's where I keep it. When you're walking into my kitchen from the living room, you can't really see all my stuff on the side of the fridge. Just thought I'd mention that. Okay, so excuse me, I have 7 peppers, and I started cutting one when I had the camera on the other side, and all you could see was my elbow, and I didn't want to do that. So I changed sides on the camera. So I am cutting up this red pepper. And this is the part I don't want to put down my garbage disposal. So I'm putting the discarded stuff in just a little bowl. It's an old lettuce bowl. And then I'll throw it in the trash later. I've had trouble with my garbage disposals in the past. I think over the last 30 years, I've gone through 3 or 4 of them. I'm gonna rinse this out real quick. So I'm a city girl. Who dreams of being a country girl. And when fall starts and you start harvesting all your foods, you find out how much work it is. And we wonder why food at the stores costs so much. It takes time to grow food and then process it. So I'm gonna freeze all these, and I'm just gonna cut them into pieces. I'm not real picky. I don't mind seeing chunks of food in my cooked meals. I'm trying to get rid of the pepper seeds. I guess this might be kind of a quieter YouTube. We'll see how much I can talk and use a knife at the same time. That sounds kind of dangerous for me. And I got these peppers at the food bank yesterday. I was kind of surprised. My mom didn't want any. And my sister is staying with her right now, and my sister is a lot younger than me. She's how old is she? She's 46. We're 23 years apart in age, and I was already married when she was born. And actually, my second child is 25 days older than my sister. So we've had quite the unusual relationship. I always thought of her more as a cousin than a sister because we never really lived together. Anyways, it's been a really hot summer, and my sister does not have air conditioning at her house. So my mom let her move in for the summer. And my sister has 2 teenage boys. So I was kind of surprised when Mom didn't want some of this food because there's 4 people in her household. I did a better job of cutting the edges of the pepper here so I can freeze it. And I'm not doing a very good job with the seeds. The seeds are plentiful. There's a verse in the Bible that says, the harvest, how does that go? The harvest is ready, but the workers are few. And I'm finding out that, you know, this time of the year, you know, the tomatoes are ripening and green peppers and stuff. It's a lot of work preserving food. You don't realize this. You know, that's kind of interesting in the middle. Can you see that? I'm not sure what it is. It does take a lot of work to harvest food. And with our society today, most people are not farmers. And so we just have no idea the time and effort that goes into harvesting food and growing it. And I have a small garden in my backyard. It's about 100 square feet. A homesteader would laugh and say that's where they keep all their daffodils, but it is what it is. I dreamt of being a homesteader when all the YouTube channels came out, and then I quickly realized, number one, I'm single, and as I get older, my body gets weaker. I couldn't do some of the things that they do. I couldn't. So I invested in some raised beds. I first had the wooden ones, and they disintegrate over time. So the last 2 summers, well, last year and this spring, I invested in some metal raised beds. And these they're supposed to last 20 years. And I'm 69, so they will probably outlast me. And I live in a neighborhood. This looks a little past its prime. I think I'm going to cut around it. It's going in the trash. So anyways, I live in a housing neighborhood. And whenever you do anything to your home, you need to think of what the next homeowner will like. They may not want raised bed gardens. And these are fairly easy to take apart. And then they can just spread the dirt around and put grass seed over my garden. This one's kind of watery. I noticed on this green pepper, it's a red pepper, there's a bad spot, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. So while I'm talking, do any of you do a lot of home cooking? Do any of you have gardens? Do any of you go to fruit and market stands so you can buy extra and preserve your food? Kind of interesting to know. I live in an urban setting. I have a fifth of an acre. I have 2/10 of an acre. And most of my neighbors probably have no idea what I grow in my garden. The tomatoes are easy to figure out because they grow on vines and you can see them growing, but they probably don't know. I've given some of my neighbors like garlic and onions, and they're just amazed with what comes out of my garden. They've never seen such a thing before. And honestly, I think that's kind of sad. I don't think we should all go back to being farmers, but I think we should know where our food comes from. My son has, I don't know, about 5 or 6 acres, I guess, and they have a bit of a garden. And they also raise ducks. Now, I don't know anything about caring for farm animals. But they raise ducks and they have duck eggs. And the kids have learned that they have their chores and they have to take care of the ducks. And my son also bought turkeys earlier this year. So we're going to have a homegrown turkey for dinner at Thanksgiving. Honestly, I don't know what I think about that. I mean, I'm not sure I want to know where the bird came from. I watch some homesteading channels and all the newbies tell them never ever name your cow or your pig or your goats or even your chickens because you become attached to them. And that's a hard one to teach children, I guess. But, you know, if they're young, and I'm talking like preschool, elementary school age, I don't think it's cruel to watch a child see the life cycle of a chicken or anything from the egg until the time, as people affectionately call it, sending them to freezer camp. Because it teaches children about life and death. Not in a morbid way, but that's the cycle of life. As for me having chickens, I can't have chickens because my HOA would not be happy. But I would be one of those that would probably have a hard time eating what I grew. I might be able to handle egg-laying chickens. But honestly, going off on a tangent here, honestly, I've never owned a pet. We had goldfish when the kids were little. But other than a 10-gallon fish tank, I don't know anything about caring for a pet. Other than it's a lot of work, a lot of love, and a lot of work. So I have no desire to have a farm animal. And if I were married and my spouse wanted a farm animal, I'd say, you can do it, but I'm not taking care of it. I'll work out in the garden. You can take care of the animals. And that's that story. And as for food, I am concerned about chemicals that are in our food these days. All the preservatives, I guess, well, preservative is a chemical. And then they put ingredients, I guess you call them ingredients, they're on the label. You have ingredients that help preserve the freshness and add to the taste. I've always kind of wondered what a natural flavor is. It says made with artificial and natural flavors. I'm getting quite a few of red peppers here. And I have a decision to make. I have, well, this one's half green and half red. And this one is also half green and half red. So, do I want to freeze all reds together and then mix the others in another tray? I think I'll do that. I'm going to turn this off real quick. It's a couple hours later and my peppers have frozen. They were all on these cookie sheets, and stuff. So they're frozen. I put them in individual bags. You can see they're individualized. And what I'll do is I will go back in the freezer in a couple hours and do this again to help keep them separated. So that is my morning's work, was cutting up a lot of peppers. Next is corn. I got 8 ears of corn. 4 were from my mom that she didn't want from yesterday's food haul. So I cooked all 8 ears. I love corn on the cob. I ate 3 of them. And I'm finding some silk here. Trying to get rid of some of the silk. I don't know if you can see it. And then I'm going to cut up the corn and I'm going to freeze it. There's probably a gazillion different ways to do this. Technically, for long-term freezing, you cook whatever vegetable it is, and then you plunge it into cold water, which stops the cooking process. I didn't do that yesterday. Can you see what I'm doing? Yep. I will probably use this up in the next month or 2. So I'm not too concerned about long-term storage. I'm trying to be frugal here, enjoying the bountiful harvest I received yesterday from the food bank. We got quite a bit, and I can't possibly eat everything I got in 1 or 2 days. I'm going to preserve it. So here's the corn. I'm going to put it on this plate, and then I'm going to lightly pat some of the moisture out. And let's see, you can't see me cutting the corn. Now you can. I'm not going to freeze this corn on a cookie sheet. I'm just going to put it in a Ziploc bag, and then in a couple hours I'll open up the freezer. I'll need to remember to set up a timer to do that, and then I'll just go in the freezer and get out the bag and kind of crunch it up a little so the kernels will be separated. That's what I will do with that. So 5 ears, 2 down, 3 to go, and I'm going to turn the camera off because not too much to talk about while doing corn.